Welcome to the show, guys. Happy Friday. Got an exciting one here for you. We are talking about count them, four fantasy football sleepers that I absolutely love, and they're very dear to my heart. I'm going to share them with you. These guys are in a great position on their depth chart. They've got the youth, they've got the upside, and they've got an outstanding opportunity to really shine and be massive fantasy football contributors for 2024. I'm excited to share these guys with you. Great value. Before we get into this, guys, huge announcement. We are doing the Fantasy Sports Summit. We're going to have live NFL athletes online with us virtually. It's like a live podcast. And if you get a ticket, you're entered for a PS5 giveaway, and you get a chance to ask NFL athletes questions. This is massive. Secure your ticket to the Fantasy Sports Summit below. I've linked it below. And also grab the 16-round draft solution. I've also linked that below. It's going to put you light years ahead of the competition. Sleepers, breakouts, optimal players draft in each round. I lay it all out for you guys. Clear as day, all the sleepers. You're going to find this year's Laporta and so much more. 16 rounds is the absolute game changer. Scrap the draft kits. Scrap all the consensus rankings. This is the solution. Grab 16 rounds and, of course, grab a ticket to the summit. All right, guys? Let's get into the show. Four sleepers. I'm ready to rock. Let's get to it.
Been knocked down 1,000 times, I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, I'm standing right here. Demons all around, but I ain't got no fear.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. Smash it, tap it, slap it, hit that thumbs up, guys, and drop a comment below. Let me know a sleeper that you absolutely, I hit my mic here. Let me know a sleeper that you absolutely love this year, that is very dear to your heart, that you absolutely have to have on your roster, okay? We're talking sleeper love here. Slap it, tap it, smash that thumbs up, guys. Again, let's share the message. I really want to talk about the latest news here. It's Friday. I really want to address the Harrison Butker situation. Now, some people, it's going to divide some people because they feel one way or another about Harrison Butker, but I'll tell you guys how I feel, okay? No matter what your stance is, whatever it may be, in anything that you do, I think you have the opportunity, as long as it's not really hurting somebody's feelings, that you are able to have free speech and able to project and speak on what you love and what you want to talk about. So if you guys, unless you've been living under a rock, you saw what happened with Harrison Butker. He was doing a commencement speech. He spoke about how he felt, how he loves his wife, empowering women that are mothers, right? Because he didn't discourage anybody from doing what they want to do. Women, he didn't say, women, you don't have to work. He never said anything like that. He just thought that he loved his wife. He thinks she's a good homemaker, right? She takes care of the kids. She loves that. She loves the marriage. And he's admiring traditional values and masculinity. Nothing wrong with that, all right? That's my feelings on it. I stand with Butker. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yet the mainstream sheep are all over him. Guys like Rich Eisen said, quote, "This is outrageous. These guys are just corporate media puppets that they've completely lost touch with human reality and how a majority of people actually feel," right? Traditional values are amazing. Belief in a religion, whatever it may be. I believe in Christ. You believe in whatever. Nothing wrong with having personal beliefs on what you believe in. Religion is very important to a lot of people. And he was a religious guy at a Catholic school doing a speech, expressing his feelings in tears. Yet the mainstream media is all over him. And there's a petition, right? There was a petition where they signed change. I think it was a change.org or whatever, 100,000 signatures from sheep who want to cancel this guy. Have we gotten that soft in society that we want to cancel somebody for expressing how they feel, especially if it's in a loving sense? He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't harm anybody. Yet there's people in the NFL that drive recklessly, endanger people's lives, beat women or whatever they're doing, disregard their children. So many other things that happen in the NFL, yet these players get to play. But Harrison Butker, no, you cannot talk about traditional values or you're going to be canceled and potentially banned off your team. And what's sad is that the mainstream corporate puppets, example like Rich Eisen and other puppets, are just saying this is outrageous. They're going with the narrative. And that's one thing we don't do on the channel. I have to address this. I don't do this on the channel. I don't go with the narrative. I don't go with the mainstream. I go against the grain. All right? I do that because I'm authentically myself. And I think a majority of the people agree with me that they don't like the mainstream narrative because it creates division. We should all come together, whether you're left or right. Okay, one person told me, I know it sounds a little corny, left or right, put those together and you can fly. Put those wings together, right? Left wing, right wing. Put them together, you fly. You come together. It doesn't matter, right? This has nothing to do with that. It's just somebody expressing their views, and he is being absolutely ridiculed by it, by the mainstream media for it. Okay, now I'm very happy about his teammate Chris Jones sending him some love, saying nothing but love, brother, or something like that. Where's Kelsey? Where's Mahomes? Why aren't they sticking up for their kicker, Harrison Butker? Where are they now? They're bought and sold. That's where they are. Okay? They're bought and sold, and they're mainstream puppets. Anyway, I had to get that out of my system because I just don't think it's fair. Nobody's speaking up about this, and I want to be the voice of reason here to unite, not to divide. To unite, not to divide. Nothing he said is offensive, and it's completely blown out of proportion, and there's people doing a lot worse things than what Harrison Butker is doing, okay? What he said. Let me know in the comments what you think below. Are you for him? By the way, his jersey sales have skyrocketed, right? Jersey sales are number one, Harrison Butker, because money talks, right? The majority of people are feeling the same thing I'm feeling, and getting against the narrative of the mainstream. Let the money talk. And jersey sales are speaking for him. All right. So let me know what you guys think of the Butker situation below. I had to let that out. And let's get to these sleepers. All right. Smash it, tap it, slap it, drop a comment below. All right. First sleeper I absolutely love. I mean, like absolutely love is Jake Ferguson. Okay. Now, this year, there really isn't a Sam Laporta type tight end that's jumping out. I mean, there is a couple of guys I like at tight end. I explained that 16-round draft solutions. If you haven't gotten 16 rounds, get it below, where I go over the potential next Sam Laporta. But if you're looking at a guy that's going to step up this year, finished 9th last year amongst tight ends, okay? The guy I'm talking about is Jake Ferguson. He is currently 90th overall, round 8. This guy, I'm telling you, man, he's entering his 3rd season, and he is primed to succeed. All right, 57 targets have now been freed up with Gallup gone. All right, they got Cooks there. They got CeeDee Lamb, who's going to be the target hog for sure, but they don't have a running back. Pollard's gone, so that receiving threat is gone, so it's going to free up some receiving targets because Zeke Elliott's not a pass-catching back. In fact, he's washed up. I don't even know why he's on the team. So you've got some freed up targets there with Pollard. You got some freed up targets there with Gallup. And you've got more rapport with Jake Ferguson and Dak Prescott this year. Okay, that's huge. All right, he's going to build on the 102 targets, 71 receptions, 761-yard, 5-touchdown season. He can run, he can catch, right? He's a strong tight end that's got a nose for the end zone. If you watch some of his highlights, grabs the ball near the end zone and dives in. Like, he is a hungry guy. And they got Schoonmaker there, Luke Schoonmaker, which is a good thing because he could do more of the blocking and let Jake open up for the passes and the short yardage gains and more receptions and potentially more touchdowns. Listen, I love him. So when I'm in there, now I got him in a dynasty league where it's, tight end is a little more valued. I ended up getting him in the 8th round, which is absolutely amazing for a guy who could easily be a top 2 tight end or even be the top tight end in fantasy football this year. He is my fallback. He is my guy that I lean on in my drafts as the tight end that I look to target, and then I back him up a little bit later in case I do miss on Sam Laporta in round 2, which I do like the value for Sam Laporta because the wide receivers there in that ADP are ludicrous. I'm not getting there's no way I'm drafting Nico Collins round 2 or Keenan Allen round 3 or DJ Moore. No, these guys are in wide receiver committees. I'm staying away from that little bit of a mess between rounds 2 to 4. And I think that Laporta has a safety blanket in there. But Jake Ferguson, absolutely love him. Fantasy football sleeper. Have to address that. Number 2, let me know in the comments. I want to make this interactive, okay? Number 2 is Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey, love him. A couple issues I want to address. First of all, let's talk about Ladd McConkey. Round 2 pick by the Chargers. We're looking for a bounce back here from Justin Herbert. By the way, Justin Herbert, great value in drafts, by the way. He's looking for a huge bounce back this year. 100 freed up targets are now available with Keenan Allen being gone. You bring in young Ladd McConkey, drafted in the 2nd round, 34th pick overall in the NFL draft. This kid is explosive. He's got bursts of speed. He's got amazing start and stop quickness, like stops on a dime, route runner, super quick, 5'11", 190 pounds, right? Now, they don't really have an established wide receiver 1 there. They did bring in Brendan Rice And apparently his dad is hot-headed. He's like, I'm hot about this. My son didn't get drafted in the second or third round. Yeah, because he's not as good, profile-wise. But there's wide receivers that have been drafted later in drafts that have come out and done amazing. Antonio Brown, for example. But when you're looking at a guy like, Ladd McConkey, he's in a great position to succeed. Of course, Brandon Rice is going to work hard to try to take that job. And they got Quentin Johnston, who I've seen some training videos. He's really working hard in the offseason. They got Josh Palmer there. So it is a bit of a four-headed monster kind of developing here. So the offseason is really going to help develop on who the one is. But the way it sits now, based on high draft capital of Ladd McConkey this season, the lack of performance of Quentin Johnston last season, and the late draft pick of Brendan Rice, and the mediocre play of Josh Palmer, Ladd McConkey seems to be emerging as the one on paper, but it's still very early. There's still more time to see who kind of steps up and emerges. Maybe it's Brendan Rice. We don't know. But Ladd McConkey right now, again, 119th overall pick. So he's good value. All right. So if you are looking for a potential wide receiver one, you get this guy later and you're set. And that's what I'm telling you. There's a ton of depth at wide receiver, but there's also a ton of depth at running back this year. You get a ton of sleepers. And the last one, stay to the end, the last one's one of my favorite sleepers. And he's a running back. Love him, okay? So Ladd McConkey, number 2. Number 3, let's go into it. Rashid Shaheed, sitting 150th overall. I love the opportunity here for Shaheed. Now, I talked to Jimmy Maverick, my co-host here, and he's telling me he's just more of a speedster, one-trick pony, good for best ball. Very possible, but I do actually think he's going to get an uptick in production as well. They've got Olave and Kamara, who are the primary targets there. But Shaheed, 75 targets last year, 46 receptions, 5 touchdowns. He actually matched Chris Olave in touchdowns. Did you know that? They actually had the same amount of touchdowns, Olave and Shaheed. And you're getting Shaheed for a huge value. You're paying a second-round pick for Olave, and you're getting Shaheed after round 10, which is phenomenal, okay? Round 12 to 13 is his ADP. Now, there's 64 targets freed up with Michael Thomas gone, which is amazing. And understand that Shaheed is entering his 3rd season. He's going to be developing more, and he's going to get more targets. He's also coming to the Fantasy Sports Summit, so you have a chance to ask him questions, okay? I like him. He's a speedster. I think he's great talent. And they also didn't draft another wide receiver that's going to come in and take that volume. So they didn't go high draft capital on a top wide receiver prospect in the NFL draft. That means they believe in their wide receiver core with Olave and Shaheed. Shaheed's the clear 2 on that team. And he's, again, they didn't draft another wide receiver. Michael Thomas is gone, freed up targets, and he only develops more rapport this year. So Shaheed, I think, is going to be a great value later. He doesn't get me overly excited. I mean, the ceiling feels a little limited because I am aiming for a wide receiver too. But for the value of round 12 to 13, sign me up. And he's only going to do better than he did last year. He's going to stack on the 5 touchdowns. He's going to stack on the 46 receptions. I'm looking at least over 100 targets here for Rashid Shaheed this year, over 60 receptions and 7 touchdowns. Not a bad guy, especially in deeper leagues. Rashid Shaheed, look for him, man. He's a special player, honestly. That's why I asked him to come to the summit, okay? A bit of a sleeper, though, for sure. And the last one here, again, before I get into this, guys, grab the 16-round draft solution. I've linked it below. Secure the solution, secure the championship. All the sleepers, all the breakouts, all the optimal players, grab it below. All right, guys? So, next guy here is Zamir White, is my last sleeper. Here's why I love him. Let's talk about Zamir White, all right? Great talent, young. Okay, what else, Joe? He came out of the NFL draft literally untouched. They brought in Alexander Madison, who sucked. He's a failed RB1. He was never supposed to be an RB1. He's a failed RB1. Okay, so I'm looking at clues. I look at the scenario. I look at the situation, right? And they brought in Madison, and they didn't draft anybody in the NFL draft that's going to really compete with Zamir White. Okay, so Zamir White's the man on the depth chart right now after free agency, after the NFL draft. We're sitting here Friday, May 17th. Zamir White, literally, knock on wood, untouched. Barring any type of injury, this guy is the RB1. Last year, 104 targets, 451 yards, 4.3 yards per carry, only 1 touchdown. But Jacobs was there. Now, they willingly got rid of Jacobs. No problem. You guys can get rid of Jacobs. We're going to get rid of him. And they didn't make any moves to bring anybody else in. So Zamir White is the RB1. He's a round 6 ADP in a 1-quarterback league, 12-person PPR league. He is the round 6 running back. You're getting a RB1 in round 6. I cannot express how amazing this is. Okay. Couple quick things you want to note here. Week 16, he had 22 attempts. Week 17, he had 20 attempts. And week 18, monster week, 25 attempts, 112 yards, 4.3 yards per carry. Going back to that week 16, we had the 22 attempts. He ran for 145 yards. He had 2 100-yard rushing games in the last 3 games of the season, and over 67 rushing attempts. That's 67 rushing attempts in 3 weeks. They tested him at the end of the season, and he answered the call. He is great value. He's a sleeper, and he could finish as a top 5 to 10 running back in fantasy. Yes, you heard it. Zamir White has that much upside. Am I excited for him as, when I look at him, do I look at him and see Breece Hall type talent? No, but I see opportunity, and there is mediocre running backs that finish top 10, guys like Rashad White, who are mediocre, that are just successful, predicated on a ton of volume. He is that guy. He is that value, and he's a perfect example of why you should possibly go wide receiver in the first 2 rounds, because you can get the value of a running back later. And he is one of the guys that I like in the kind of those mid rounds that's kind of helping me decide that I don't really need to go robust this year at the RB position, because I can get the value later. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. So Jake Ferguson, love him. Love him. Great opportunity this year. Ladd McConkey, Rashid Shaheed, Zamir White, 4 sleepers that I absolutely love. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let me know what you guys think on the Butker situation. Should he be removed from the Chiefs, or is the mainstream media absolutely out of their mind? Love to get your feedback here. Subscribe, thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys. Turn on that bell for NFL news and everything else under the sun for fantasy football. All right, guys, appreciate you. Have a great weekend. I'll keep the content rolling here for you. Turn on the bell, subscribe, grab 16 rounds. I'm out. Have a great day.